My name is Adrian Husseini, and this is my presentation on Canada's dark history, residential schools. What was the issue? Residential schools were government-sponsored religious schools that were designed to assimilate Indigenous children into the new Canadian culture. Students were forcefully taken away from their homes, stripped of their native names, and forced to conform to Christianity. Resistance from parents was even futile. These schools were government funded, giving the parents no rights to do anything about it. Conditions of residential schools. Children were severely punished for infractions. These punishments included beatings. Survivors of residential schools recount cases of sexual assault, physical abuse, emotional and psychological abuse. Students were given very little education. The primary focus on residential schools was learning religion, culture, and doing manual labor. Girls were primed for domestic work, and boys were taught skills like carpentry and farming. Most students only had a grade 5 education by the age of 18 years old. The effects on residential schools in the past were that many children died in these schools. Living conditions were horrible. It is well accepted that residential schools were part of Native American genocide. It is estimated that approximately 4,000 to 6,000 children have died due to residential school system. Years of Native culture were lost or destroyed through this governmental supported genocide. Effects on residential schools today. Since the last residential school closed in 1996, there are still survivors today who are healing from atrocities of residential schools. Many Native Canadians suffer from mental health and substance abuse issues due to sexual and mental and physical abuse. Since many Native Canadians who attended residential schools did not get greater than a grade 5 education, their job prospects are grim and must rely on the government's assistance programs. Kamloops Residential School. So, residential schools have been closed for 25 years now, but we're still discovering more about them as time goes on. In June 2021, investigators found 215 graves of Native children who were buried under residential school era. This has caused outcry amongst the Native Canadian community, asking for the government to redistribute funding for Catholic schools to Native Canadian support programs. That's the end of the slideshow. Thank you.